What's up, nerd family? Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Vet, and I'm just going to log in here so that we can go ahead and chat live. If this is your first time to one of our live watch parties, basically here's what's going to happen. We're going to set up the program and get it all ready to go, and at the same time, we're going to count down from 3. We're all going to hit play together, and we're going to watch The Mandalorian together. Now, I'm here. My wife is coming in. She's making some popcorn real quick because I got my popcorn already. And I'm going to log in here so that we can live chat while we watch the show, because that's that's what we do. That's what we do. We have some fun around here doing this together, and I hope that you have some fun joining in with us. And I'm looking forward to seeing who is here already. All right. Here we go. I can get it up here. What's up, Caleb? Hey, yo. Matthew Kwan, what's up? Good to see you. William, what's shaking? Good to see you guys. Tonight is 80s night. It's 80s night, and the feeling's right. My wife's looking at me really weird over in the other room.
No, I just gotta take it. I'm making phone calls
I know.
for work.
No, she's looking at me strange because I'm singing, stupid songs. But that's all right. What's up, Josh D? Welcome. So I got my G.I. Joe sweatshirt on, my hoodie on, and of course, I got some Masters of the Universe. No, zipper's fine. Okay. I got some Masters of the Universe going on, and we're getting ready to watch a Star Wars thing. So I love that. So as soon as Tiffany gets her popcorn ready here,
Not just popcorn. It's gonna be a few minutes. I gotta make a phone call for work.
Oh, we started live, babe.
I know, and you didn't talk to me.
Oh, we got to start at 8 o'clock. We had it separate for 7 o'clock. I'm sorry. So this is the way. So while we're waiting for her, let's talk about what we got going on so far. All right, we got Baby Yoda fever, which is like just taking over the entire country right now. Taking over everybody. Everybody loves Baby Yoda, which I love Baby Yoda. I think that this is a really cool thing. I love the fact that they introduced this into the canon, where they introduced it. The kind of character that it is, obviously being one of Yoda's species. I think that that's really cool. I also think it's cool because they set up the Mandalorian to be this, real he's a bounty hunter, right? So he doesn't care about anybody. He just does what he does. And I thought it was really cool that they introduced this totally different type of thing into this, because I was not expecting to have this guy with this soft side, trying to take care of Baby Yoda kind of thing. And I dig that. Now, last week's episode 3, The Sin, was amazing. I mean, we got to see live action Mandalorians going crazy, flying all over the place, shooting the place up. We got to see, Pax, why am I having a brain fart? Vizsla, thank you, Pax Vizsla. See? She's in the other room, but she's still listening. Pax Vizsla show up, man, with the heavy gunner thing. I cannot wait to get that figure. I've got that figure coming in here in the next couple days to Best Buy, because it's a Best Buy exclusive. Can't wait to get that figure. But flies in. They all fly in. They're just blowing everybody away, and I love that. It was just really cool to see that in live action finally. To see Mandalorians do what Mandalorians do. There's been a big push. I think that with Boba Fett, in the past, we always thought that he was a Mandalorian until they changed canon. And they kind of changed the Mandalorians to be something different than what we kind of felt they were. We had this negative probably with Boba Fett, because Boba Fett seemed like a bad guy, he was a bounty hunter, and that's what he was. But there was so much more there to the Mandalorians. I don't think that you have to separate Boba Fett from being a Mandalorian, in nature, but I know that he's not now with Jango, and now we know where Boba Fett came from. But it's okay. I'd really like to know, though, how Jango Fett came about getting the armor. You know, how did he get the armor to begin with? Why did he want to wear the armor of a Mandalorian warrior if he was not Mandalorian himself? Those are all questions that I think we would all like to see answers to. Yeah, Caleb, the merch sucks. That's too bad. But you know, the thing is that they've got to they got to get the stuff out, right? And I understand why they wanted to keep it secret before they just put it all out there. But that being said, I feel like they should have had something. I mean, like there's plenty of stuff. I mean, if they can keep stuff from the movie a secret, it seems like they would have been able to keep that a secret too. You know, I don't know. It's unfortunate because they're missing out on a ton of money by not being able to have proper Baby Yoda merch out there right now when Baby Yoda fever is at its peak. You know, when they come out in a couple of months, maybe, will it be as prevalent? I don't know. Only time will tell. Darth Tasty, we're about to watch The Mandalorian. I'm just waiting for the wife. She's taking care of some business. She's on call tonight. Well, that's interesting, Caleb. I had never seen that about Django. And that's interesting. But you know, like I think it does beg the question, like, why did he want to wear that armor? You know, I don't know. And then Boba Fett obviously taking up the mantle of his father, changing the armor that his father had, you know, changing the color, changing the style, and everything to be something different. And then where is... I still am of the belief that Boba Fett is alive. I think that that's something that they want to eventually establish, is that Boba Fett is still alive. And I hope that he is. I hope that he is. Boba Fett is a character that I would like to see more of. I don't feel that the prequels really did Boba Fett any justice for being a character that everybody loves so much. You know, George Lucas always talked about, like, I don't understand why people like him so much or whatever. But there were just those of us who did, you know, and he just seemed like a really cool character. There was this mystery behind him, all of those things, and it would have been nice if he had like a really good background. I mean, I guess he did, and they tried to fill in some of that in Clone Wars with his story, but nonetheless, it's weird seeing some of these characters start as kids. You know, seeing Darth Vader start as a kid, seeing Boba Fett start as a kid. It's a little different. It's a little different, to be honest with you. Let's see. They should allow I agree with you, Josh. I think that would be a great idea. Is if they said, "Hey, this is what's coming out." Unfortunately, I don't even think that they have like prototypes for stuff yet to be able to even say, "Hey, this is what's going to come out." Now, I do know this. There was a list that came out already that said for those of you who collect Funko Pop vinyls, that there is going to be a regular pop vinyl figure of Baby Yoda, of course, because there's a pop vinyl of everything. But then also they're doing a 10-inch Baby Yoda, and I think that will sell very well. I mean, at $29.99, everybody's going to end up buying that thing. Let's see, Darth Tasty says, did anybody notice that there's an episode coming out the day before Rise of Skywalker? I'm wondering if it's somehow going to tie into the movie. That's a really good question, right? I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be great if we saw something that, you know, we see on The Mandalorian, and then the next day we go see The Rise of Skywalker, and boom, there it is. And there's like this big reveal, or, you know, mystery solved or something like that by watching the movie, or more background given. And I want to know, since this happens, you know, 5 years after Return of the Jedi, where's Baby Yoda now? Where's Baby Yoda during this whole thing? Does Baby Yoda show up during The Rise of Skywalker? Would be interesting. I mean, he'd be a little older. You know, I don't know. How do they age? You know, I mean, it seems like with Yoda getting really started with his Jedi stuff, by the time that he's 100, it seems like the first 50 years we're seeing is kind of infancy. What are the next 50 years? He would have to grow up considerably. So that would be very interesting. That is not the way. Excuse me. In Legends, he was a foundling, but Lucas eventually decided not to use that story. He instead wanted a clean slate, so he rewrote the Mandalorian people in Clone Wars to be pacifist. Well, it's interesting because the what's canon that's still out there is that they became pacifists for a while. That was with Lady Satine and everything, trying to take them in under that path. But but we know their history was a bloody history, and even against the Jedi, that they went to war with the Jedi, but they just could not take the Jedi down because of the Force and lightsabers and stuff. And actually, the Beskar steel that they use was actually specifically made for the purpose that they could turn around and because the Beskar steel is resistant to lightsabers. So that's why they started using that particular steel in their armor. It's obviously resistant to blaster bolts, but also to lightsaber strikes. So, but then after that, after that time during Rebels, we see kind of this return to Mandalorians kind of uniting. So it'll be interesting to see if they get into much of this purge that they talk about, where obviously the Empire went after the Mandalorians and tried to exterminate them because they there's not that many of them anymore, right? And so we know something happened. So what was that thing? Let's see here. I think it was Rebels that they did a little bit of Boba Fett as a teenager. Some of that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was actually Clone Wars. That they did get into some of that and some of the bounty hunters that he hung around and all those things. I wonder if they're going to do Black Series Baby Yoda. He would be so tiny, right? If they did Black Series Baby Yoda, it'd be interesting because they did Black Series Porgs, and they're just super super tiny, and they're just in this little thing. So I wouldn't put it past them, right? And they'll probably charge like $8 to $10 just for that little tiny figure. I think they charged $5.99 maybe for the two. For you got two Porgs or whatever in this little thing. I still got one in there. I'd get it. I'd get it for sure. Little baby Yoda. It'd be awesome to have a Black Series little baby Yoda. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine a 3 3/4 inch little baby Yoda though, because how tiny would that have to be, right? On just the regular scale. If they can tie it in without ruining the Mandalorian, I would be okay with it. I just don't trust how they've been doing it. Maybe they will turn it around with the final film. Oh, I hope so. I hear you, Josh. I know there's people who haven't enjoyed the sequel trilogy so far. Personally, I have. I don't begrudge anybody who it doesn't resonate with them. I dig it, but so I'd love to see a tie-in with it. But like I said, even then, even with liking the sequels, I still want to see it done well. I don't want to see just something stupidly thrown out there, just for the sake of throwing it out there. I want to see it. I want to see it done well. I want to see it written well, and I don't want it to be like cheeky. I don't want it to just be like wink, wink. See this? If you watch The Mandalorian, you got it. Now, I will say this: if they do it, it probably won't be some like major reveal. I would think, because if you do that, you alienate all the people who don't have Disney Plus, and I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think that they're going to alienate all the people who would have not yet signed up for Disney Plus and seen The Mandalorian. You may get things that if you've seen The Mandalorian, you'll recognize what's going on. You go, yeah, okay, I get that. But if not, then it's not going to like take you out of it. And I think that goes back to the fact that everybody's not going to see everything Star Wars. Everybody's not going to like everything Star Wars. So if you start pulling random stuff out of cartoons that nobody has seen, maybe a small percentage of the fandom have seen, the diehards, and then you throw that into to the mainstream movie and expect people to understand it, that's going to cause problems. Let's see. I know that Lucas doesn't like the warrior culture that Filoni is pushing. He wanted the Mandalorians to be the Star Wars versions of Vulcans, to be enlightened beings. Yeah, and I don't think that works for them. I don't find that works for how does that work for a culture that has a specific armor, right? And has a that doesn't work. But again, I love George Lucas. I love George. But not everything that George comes up with or thinks is the right take on something. You look, if you watch his problem with some of the prequel stuff is that he, at that point in his career, he literally had no one to tell him no. Everybody was a yes man to George Lucas during the prequels. If you don't believe me, watch the behind the scenes making of Episode 1 and Episode 2, the trilogy in general. And he comes in, and they're showing him these clay sculptures of different aliens and stuff. And he comes in and he looks at them and he's like, nah, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. And you see all these young people, they're just happy to work on a Star Wars movie, which I totally get. They're starstruck, man. They love it and everything. But, that being said, nobody says to him when he says, oh, this, and this, nobody ever says no to him, including his producer, McClellan. Never said no to George. Never pushed back on anything. And that's why we got some of the choices that we got. I like the fact that they're more like the Klingons, Josh. I like that. Pam, I hear you. I think Tiffany, who's joining us now, wants a plushy Baby Yoda with frog swallowing action. Would you like that?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, I figured so. Yep, I do have the Black Series porgs. They're tiny. Okay,
I have a murder of porgs.
Tiffany has a murder of porgs. She's got all the porgs. That's what they're called, a murder of porgs. So, I think we're ready. We're going to get set up then.
Sorry, I'm on call and I had a situation.
That's all right. We still love you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull up Disney Plus.
I have to still work while we're doing this, but
that's fine. And that's what I love about Dave Filoni, right? Is that he wasn't just a yes man for George. That he gave some good ideas, and I think that's important. And I think that's healthy for the series. Okay. So here we are. I have pulled up. Oops. I've pulled up the screen where it's Mandalorian. It's got all 4 chapters. Got all 4 chapters on here. So we see Cara Dune over on the far right. I am going to count down from 3, and we will all watch The Mandalorian together. So I hope that you are all set up and ready, and I am ready to go. Let's go. 1, 2, and 3. Disney logo. Previously on The Mandalorian.
Such a large bounty for such a small package.
My armor has lost its integrity. I may need to begin again.
I must warn you, it will draw many eyes.
They all hate you, Bando. Now, how can I show my gratitude to my most valuable partner?
What are they doing with it?
I didn't ask. It's against the guild code.
Step aside. I'm going to my ship.
You put the bounty down, and perhaps I'll let you pass.
How many of them have tracking fobs?
All of them. All of them!
Lucasfilm logo. I really dig this thing. All the different colors and stuff. Shrimp. Dry up a little bit. I've seen that guy in other stuff. The guy who's
Maybe like a green brand, like green, like a green in the water. Oh, stealing trips. Insect thing. No, I love him.
back walk. Uh-oh. Switches.
Stop touching things.
You're touching stuff. Oh my god! Are you kidding me?
That is adorable. Just like our kids, like, are you sure?
Let's see. Sorgan. Looks like there's no starport, no industrial centers, no population density. Real backwater scuggle hole, which means it's perfect for us. Ready to lay low and stretch your legs for a couple of months, you little womp rat? Nobody's gonna find us here.
That's so adorable.
That's gonna be neat, like,
Can I touch it? Can I touch it? Again, awesome graphics. This is a TV show, folks. A TV show. This is movie quality right here.
Now listen, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna look around. Shouldn't take too long. Now, don't touch anything. I'll find us some lodging, and I'll come back for you. You stay right here. You stay. Don't move. You understand? Great. What the hell? Come on.
Did you notice how he still has his old armor for one part of his leg?
Oh,
I
yeah.
wonder if that'll come into play. Can't solve what you trying to get popcorn. Oh my gosh! A live action Bobcat. And now Cara Dune. Josh, they did look like orcs.
Welcome, travelers. Can I interest you in anything?
Bone broth for the little one.
Oh, well, you're in luck. I just took down a Gringer, so there's plenty. Can I interest you in a porringer of broth as well?
Just the one.
Very well.
That one over there. When did she arrive?
I've seen her here for the last week or so.
What's your business here?
Business? Oh, well, there's not much business in Sorkin, so I can't say. She doesn't strike me as a log runner. Well, thank you, sir. I will get that broth to you as soon as possible, and I will throw in a flagon of spotchka just for good measure. I will be right back with that.
Keep an eye on the kid.
Yes, sir.
Nice. I'm liking seeing like what their weapons do. Pam was excited about the Bobcat as well. Ooh.
Why are you following me? Got the run for the Mandalorian. Dang.
You want some soup?
What you guys doing?
Saw most of my action mopping up after Endor. Mostly ex-Imperial warlords. They wanted it fast and quiet. They'd send us in on the drop ships, no support, just us. Then when the imps were gone, the politics started. They were peacekeepers, protecting delegates, suppressing riots, not what I signed up for.
How'd you end up here?
Let's just call it an early retirement. Look, I knew you were guild. I figured you'd have a fob on me. That's why I came at you so hard.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Well, this has been a real treat. Unless you want to go another round. One of us is going to have to move on, and I was here first.
Well, looks like this planet's taken.
The whole planet.
Look at the dude from
Excuse me. Excuse me, sir?
There's something I can help you with.
Yeah. Raiders. We have money.
So you think I'm some kind of mercenary?
You are a Mandalorian, right? Or at least wearing Mandalorian armor. That is Mandalorian armor, right?
It is.
See? I told him, sir, I've read a lot about your people.
Is that Aziz?
Try, if half of what I read is
We
true,
have money. How much?
It's everything we have, sir. Our whole harvest was stolen. Krill, we're krill farmers. We grew spotchka. Our whole village chipped in.
It's not enough.
Are you sure? You don't even know what the job is.
I know it's not enough. Good luck.
This is everything we have. We'll give you more after the next harvest. Come on. Let's head back. It took us the whole day to get here. Now we have to ride back with no protection to the middle of nowhere.
Where do you live?
On a farm. Aren't you listening? We're farmers.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yes?
You have lodging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Come up and help. I'm gonna need one more thing. Give me those credits. Ready for round 2?
So we're basically running off a band of raiders for lunch money?
They're quartering us in the middle of nowhere. Last I checked, it's a pretty square deal for somebody in your position. Worst case scenario, you turn up your blaster. Best case, we're a deterrent. I can't imagine there's anything living in these trees that an ex-shock trooper couldn't handle.
Shock trooper.
Aww.
Well, looks like they're happy to see us.
Looks like.
I like the way that they're developing characters. Showing their relationships.
Please come in. I hope this is comfortable for you. I'm sorry that all we have is the barn.
This'll do fine.
I stacked some blankets over here.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Possible love interest.
This is my daughter, Winta. We don't get a lot of visitors around here. She's not used to strangers. This nice man is going to help protect us from the bad ones. Thank you. Come on, Winta. Let's give our
Winta.
guests some room.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's a callback to canon to the character of Winter, who took care of Han and Leia's twins in Legends.
Knock, knock.
Come in.
She's in a crib.
Can I feed him?
Sure.
Aww.
Are you hungry? So cute. Can I play with him?
Sure.
brought you some food. I noticed you didn't eat out there. I'll leave it here for when I come.
That's very thoughtful of you.
Do you mind if I ask you something?
Go ahead.
How long has it been since you've taken that off?
Yesterday.
I mean, in front of someone else.
I wasn't much older than they are.
You haven't shown your face to anyone since you were a kid?
No. I was happy that they took me in. My parents were killed, and the Mandalorians took care of me.
I'm sorry.
This is the way.
Let us know if there's anything you need.
Thank you.
Possible love interest. Someone tells me he may be taking off the help. Oh, help coming off.
Is he gonna be like,
Should we look up and see?
I thought you were like,
I did that. Sensors. It's awesome.
About 15 or 20 of them came through here on foot.
This is the way.
And something big sheared off those branches.
ATST.
Imperial Walker. What's it doing here?
I don't know. But this is more than I signed up for.
Bad news. Can't live here anymore.
What? Why? Nice bedside manner.
You think you can do better?
Can't do much worse.
I know this is not the news you wanted to hear, but there are no other options.
You took the job.
That was before we knew about the ATST.
What is that?
The armored walker with 2 enormous guns that you knew about and didn't tell us.
You were supposed to help us.
We have nowhere to go. Sure you do. This is a big planet. I mean, I've seen a lot smaller.
My grandparents seeded these ponds. It took generations.
I understand. I do. But there are only 2 of us.
No, there's not. There's at least 20 here.
Yeah. I mean fighters. Be realistic.
We can learn, Can. Give us a chance.
I've seen that thing take out entire companies of soldiers in a matter of minutes.
We're not leaving. You cannot fight that thing.
Unless we show them how.
The Ewoks did.
You got 2 problems here. You got the bandits and you got the mech. We'll handle the ATST. You gotta protect us when they come out of the woods. And I don't have to tell you how dangerous they are. Cara Dune was a veteran. She was a drop soldier for the rebellion. She's gonna lay out a plan for you, so listen carefully.
Now, there's nothing on this planet that can damage the legs on this thing. So we're gonna build a trap. We're gonna need to dig real deep, right here. So that when it steps in, it drops. The 2 of us will hit their
This is
team.
the way I have the Senate.
That'll bring the fight out of the woods and down here to us.
I'm gonna need you to cut down trees and build barricades along these edges. I need it high enough so that they can't get over, and strong enough so that it can't break through. Okay. Who knows how to shoot?
Yep.
Ready, 1. 1.
montage. Need some rock and roll music behind them old
We're
train.
leaving soon. When we return, we're coming in hot.
We'll be ready.
I'm gonna show you my face.
Is that it?
What? Let's get under that armor. Bryce Dallas Howard. Nice. Oh, those.
Get a back thing?
No. You'll blow up. Nice move. Oh!
Come on, I'll cover you.
I hope the plan worked.
Oh!
It's like Jurassic Park.
It is. I'm fixing the other ones to make here.
A lot like Jurassic Park. This is like Jurassic Park meets,
Jurassic Park Wars.
this is like Star Wars meets,
Aw.
It's like Jurassic Park meets Star Wars meets, Lord of the Rings.
We need to have
Once that thing
a
steps in the
challenge
pot, it's
to
going
watch an
down.
episode without going, aww.
Weapons ready!
Just a few more steps. Take the bait, you hungry junk.
Nice. Awesome. This is awesome.
Oh!
Ooh, that's the leader.
A little bit of Braveheart thrown in.
A little bit of Braveheart.
She reminds me of Braveheart a little bit.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. And pointing and...
Is that the plan?
Something like that.
It's like, I like you to fight with, and I want you to be my woman.
You're right, Dave. It does feel like a mini movie.
Oh! Move on, he's hungry.
Oh. Oh, we got him. You know what he likes to eat? The real reason why. The real reason why Yoda went to Dagobah. Aww.
He spit out what he left.
Can I set you something in the house?
Thank you. Maybe later.
He's very happy here.
He is.
Aww.
Fits right in.
Want one?
Look at his face.
So what happens if you take that thing off? They come after you and kill you?
No. You just can't ever put it back on again.
That's it? So you can slip off the helmet and settle down with that beautiful young widow and raise your kid sitting here sipping spotchka?
You know, we raised some hell here a few weeks back. It's too much action for a backwater town like this. Word travels fast. We might want to cycle the charts and move on.
We don't want to be the one who's got to tell him.
I'm leaving him here. Traveling with me. That's no life for a kid. I did my job. He's safe. Better chance at a life.
It's going to break his little heart.
He'll get over it. We all do.
Ooh, uh-oh. Yeah, he ain't leaving in there now.
Excuse me. Can I have a word?
Of course.
It's very nice here.
Yes.
I think it's clear he's happy here.
What about you?
Me.
Are you happy here?
Maybe.
We want you to stay. The community's grateful. You can pack all this away in case there's ever trouble. You and your boy could have a good life. You could be a child for a while. Wouldn't that be nice?
He is.
I would. He does.
I understand. I will look after him as one of my own.
No!
Go get the kids.
Oh!
Who's he tracking?
The kid.
They know he's here.
Yes.
This is going with him.
Then they'll keep coming.
Yes.
Are you sure you don't want to escort?
I appreciate the offer. But we're gonna bypass the town and head right to the Razor Crest.
Well then, until our paths cross.
Till our paths cross.
Aww.
I miss you so much.
It's gotten bigger.
Thank you.
Kisses on it.
Just say goodbye, Wookie. Just say goodbye to Baby Yoda.
What a baby Wookie.
Baby Wookie.
Thank you for the kisses. Dang, they got so many feels with this baby Yoda. First, you think he's gonna leave him, then you think he's gonna get shot by another bounty hunter. It needs to be longer.
It does need to be longer. Great episode.
That's all I hear every single time
What,
it
what
starts.
song is it?
It's from Sister Act.
Oh,
Grandpa and sister is grandpa.
oh, that's cool.
That is cool. I like her. She's kick butt.
Great episode. Aw,
I know. We saw a live-ish Love Cat.
live-ish.
Well, it still was animated, but so what? Gotta be
That
honest.
artwork is so cool.
It is.
Very cool.
I see you. You should play fetch.
There he is.
I feel so bad. I want to be able to talk to people.
Alrighty. So, Josh says the concept art alone could be its own show.
Oh yeah, it definitely could.
Yep. So, and Darth Tasty says we need a Baby Yoda T-shirt.
Yes, we do.
You good?
We need a
I'll get
baby-
Marquez on
We need
that.
a baby Yoda, and on the bottom it goes,
Aww. Tiffany said that's the challenge next week.
Yes.
Is see if you can get through the entire episode without saying
Aww. Because you see so many times, I mean, even like when he had the frog in his mouth, they're laughing and he spits it out and you're like, aw.
Oh my
Everything
gosh.
he does is freaking adorable.
I know. It is. It's just, he's so stinking cute.
It's for being like a little tiny puppet, he emotes so stinking much, like with those eyes, and then when his like lips, the little baby sounds that come out, the little ears when they go down, it's like, it's awesome. They did a great job with that.
They sure did. Guys, this was a great episode. But so far, all 4 episodes have been fabulous. I mean,
I haven't had a bad one. I'm still 10 out of 10.
You figure right now we're in at about the amount of time that you know it'd be like one movie, about 2 hours, right? And man, I just want more.
Yeah.
I just want more. Like I'm on the edge of my seat, waiting to see what they're going to do next. Well, how are they going to advance the story? I want to know more about Yoda. See, here's my ultimate concern. Because I know for a fact George Lucas did not reveal the species that Yoda was because he did not want that information to be out there. He said once in an interview I saw that he knew, but he wasn't telling anybody, and it was never going to be something that was revealed. So my only concern is that we're going to get so attached to this stinking Baby Yoda thing, and they're never going to tell us anything about where Baby Yoda came from, who Baby Yoda is.
But yeah, we're in love.
But we're absolutely in love, and I just don't want it to become like a Lost thing. Like any of you who watched the show Lost.
Oh yeah.
It was like season after season after season of tease and setup and tease and setup and tease and setup, and then there was nothing at the end. Nothing. I don't want nothing. I want something. So far, they've been giving us something though. So far, I love
love interest for the bounty hunter.
So far, I love the progression. I
love.
Yes, I love the progression so far. I love the character development that they're taking their time, setting this all up, and we haven't even seen what's her name, who was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's supposed to play into it, so I'm guessing that'll be the next place that he goes. That she'll be there. Cara Dune, thinking she'll play a bigger role.
They said until our paths meet again.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to meet sooner than later.
Yeah. We get a little bit more of the backstory here of the Mandalorian and who he is and where he came from, and I like that.
But it's not like necessarily a struggle, but it's like he took off his helmet. We couldn't see his face. So it's like he's struggling with that, because then she even said, "Why don't you settle down? Your son can be a kid, for a little bit." And she went to go take off his helmet and like lifted it just the tiniest bit, and then he was kind of like, "No, I can't."
Baby Yoda almost got shot.
Yeah. Things got real.
It got real fast. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting the amount of concern that they put into an AT-ST.
Yeah.
Especially given what happened in Return of the Jedi. Speaking of which, Cara Dune name dropped Endor.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened and how it took them time to clean up, and the bureaucrats and the scavengers and all that stuff. I love that stuff. I'll tell you what, I could eat that up all day long. Yeah. You give me continuation of what happened after Endor and start explaining some of the stuff that happened after that, I will gladly watch that show all day long. That's what I think we need more of. Man, that's phenomenal. Good stuff. What are you guys saying here in the comments? This was the longest episode. Yep. Josh, best Star Wars theme by far, in my opinion. It is pretty cool.
How many episodes are they doing now? Because I'm bummed.
Season 1 is 8, I believe.
Because that's why I'm bummed about Titans being done tonight.
Yep. Glad to watch it with you guys. Rewatch on my end, but glad I got to enjoy it with everyone here. Me too, Josh. I'm glad that you watched it with us. Thank you. I've seen a lot of reviews writing that this was a weak filler episode. Are you kidding me?
This was a filler?
This is a weak there's all kinds of setup in this. There's all kinds of...
Who said that?
Then it said Pam said that she saw reviews whining that this was a weak filler episode. I don't think this was a weak filler episode at all. In fact, if anything, I think this gave us a lot of the background. It took us to a new place, introduced it introduced 2 new characters to us in Cara Dune.
Mm-hmm.
And did they ever give us the other lady's name? The love interest?
Because I'm working, I couldn't 100% pay attention.
I didn't hear it. If you guys heard the name, let me know. But I did not hear a name for the love interest that they gave him. There was a battle. It showed him working together with Cara Dune and that relationship starting. Man, I don't see this as a filler episode at all.
Yeah.
I see this as a continuation. This was definitely some character development, actually. It wasn't just a bunch of fighting and stuff going on. There was character development going on there, backstory going on. Let's see here. That's crazy. I agree with you, Dark Tasty. It says, I gave up on Lost, but I couldn't keep up. LOL. I just couldn't give up on Lost, Josh. I tell you what, I kept trying to watch that show, and I watched it until the very end. And I almost want to go back and rewatch Lost now.
Really?
I almost want to go back.
Even knowing how it ends?
Even knowing how it ends. I want to go back and watch it, because I'll tell you what, I remember every week watching Lost, like, what the heck is going to happen next? Where is this all going? Where is this all going, you know? The Hatch. I mean, every episode was just like, every week was something crazy happening. The Hatch. Then there was the Lever. Then there was, they went back in time, you know, and they were all doing their thing. Then there was the whole season where they had gotten back. And it was like, they needed to get back to the island. And then, I mean, it was just, there was so much crazy. Then they found the boat. Was it the Black Rock or something?
That's right.
Man,
it's been forever.
And then they found. I always thought it was interesting. I always wanted them to expand more upon the giant statue that had toppled.
Oh, that's true.
They never said anything about like what all that was. Man, I'll tell you what. I would love. I've heard rumors of a reboot.
Of it?
There's
really?
there's been rumors for the
See,
last.
I'd watch a reboot.
There's been rumors for the last year or so of a reboot of Lost, and I'd be interested in that. And I'll tell you what, I can't go on an airplane without ever thinking about Lost.
Yeah, I know.
Every time. And I literally, guys, had a situation. I don't mean to get off on Lost.
Destination too.
I don't mean to get off on Lost or whatever, but I literally had a situation a couple of years ago. I flew to not to Kansas City. Yeah, I flew to Kansas City. I was down there by you, William, if you're still on, buddy. I flew to Kansas City, and I had some crazy weird stuff happen to me that day when I got off the plane.
Oh, that's
that was like a bunch of stuff like from my past. Like, I used to play in a band called Antioch, and I looked up and I was in a town called Antioch. And then I found these places called Vintage Stock, which are awesome. And I walked in there and I found a C-3PO Halloween costume that I had when I was 4 years old that I have video of me in. And I just happened to find the exact same thing in the box. And then not only that, but I worked at a church at one point called Living Hope. And I called her after like some weird stuff started happening like that. I called her and I said, isn't that kind of weird? And as soon as I called her, her family traces back to the...
I'm a 17th century Merriam, which is like Merriam-Webster Dictionary, shot heard around the world, from Merriam's from the, you know...
Yeah, so I called her that day to tell her that like some weird stuff was happening like that. And as soon as I called her and get her on the phone, I'm driving down the road, and there's a sign that says, "Welcome to Merriam." And like, that's her story, like that's her family thing, right? And I'm like, okay, I just talked to her. And so then like, I literally met Tiffany when I was not met her, but first worked with Tiffany long before we ever dated at a church called Living Hope, a Lutheran church called Living Hope, back when I worked at a Lutheran church. But I'm driving down the street, and I kid you not, while I'm talking to her, I looked over and there was a Living Hope Lutheran church. And I told her, I'm like, okay, this is getting weird now. Then I looked across the street, and there was this little store called Your Best Friend, and it was right next to an Aaron's rental place, and my best friend is named Aaron. And I went, what in the world is this? And then I looked over, and in the same parking lot was a restaurant called The Big Biscuit. And I used to do a radio show called The Rock Show, which was just a topical show that we used to do on an online radio network. And I had this guy from Kentucky, he's a good friend of mine. I've never met him in person, but we used to Skype him in every week. And his name, he went by the Big Biscuit. And I was like, what is going on? Did I die?
Twilight Zone?
Did I die? Did the plane crash? Is this lost? Like, what the heck? Am I reliving stuff? What in the world is going on? It was insane. Plus, I met a lady on the plane who told me I looked just like her son. And she lived out in California and went to the church that this program that I oversee at my church started at. And not only that, but she told me I looked like her son. And then I started talking about my history and stuff, that I used to work for FedEx. And her son worked for FedEx. And I was like, this is weird. This is weird. This is strange. But hey, if it was heaven, it's okay because they had Chick-fil-A. And I was happy. All right. Let's see here. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that crazy rant there. I know apparently anything that isn't wall-to-wall grit and bloodshed is weak. Yeah, I know, that's stupid. But there was a lot of battles in this episode.
Yeah,
this
this
week.
was crazy.
I do hope that we see more Akara as well, Darth Tasty. I wonder if IG-11 will come back and if Death Watch will play a role. I do too, actually, Josh. I hope that IG-11 comes back.
Oh, yeah.
And Death Watch would be interesting. I would love to see live action Darksaber.
Heck yeah.
Just saying. I'd love to see it because you got Paz Vizsla, who his dad had the Darksaber for a long time. Now I know the last time we saw the Darksaber, Sabine gave it over to the Mandalorians and stuff. But where is it now? It's obviously still out there somewhere. What's happened to it? How can you now do a Mandalorian story without the Darksaber? I don't know. Will we eventually see a live action Sabine Wren?
That would be cool. They had Loth Cats.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's very cool. He could be repaired. He is a droid. Yep. What about the red eyes on the AT-ST? That was weird.
Yeah,
that was a little different. Well, I think that they were really trying to play up the Jurassic Park T-Rex thing on that. It was pretty obvious that that's what they were trying to do. I mean, it even sounded like a couple times like it was growling. So
yeah, that's true.
So, it might have added armor. 8,320 minutes. Oh, that's right, from Lost. Darth Tasty, I almost lost that. Oh wait, is that from Lost?
What?
8,320 minutes.
No, that's a song.
No. Omira is the name of the girl from the lady who was on Shield. Shield. What's up, Bruce Jennings? Good evening, Bruce. So many ways it could take this series, and that's what's exciting. We have no clue. Absolutely, Josh. Lost, the island was really a hiding place for Mandalorians. Love it. Love your Star Wars Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Star Wars Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Bruce made this Star Wars Thanksgiving thing. It was pretty cool. We all love your work, Bruce. You do awesome work. Death Watch is more like Death Participation. Never thought of the Darksaber. Mind blown. Did I miss the episode? Bruce, you did, unfortunately. We just finished, man. The 8 episodes are 320 minutes. Ah, okay. I was thinking for some reason the 8,320 minutes sounded like a Lost thing to me. I don't know.
Well, there was a lot of different numbers and stuff going on, and
yeah, that's right. But he was saying there's 8 episodes that are 320 minutes total. Caleb says, "Hey, I'm back. Sorry, my dad got out of the hospital, so I had to go pick him up. Hey, man, gotta do what you gotta do, buddy."
that's why I'm working here while we're watching.
Soybase Jeremy, welcome to the group. Great episode. I'll give Disney credit when they do good. Good to hear. Darth Tasty says, "I never saw Lost." It was good for a long time. It was good, man. When it was good, it was great.
Just know that you'll be angry at the end.
Just know that you'll want to throw something through your TV at the end of it. Oh, man. How many years is The Rise of Skywalker set after the series? Would Baby Yoda be old enough to be a Jedi Knight or a Mandalorian? So, Wow, I never even thought of that. Could you have a Yoda Mandalorian? Yodalorian? Hashtag Yodalorian. We gotta make that t-shirt.
I'm DeLorean? No, Yodalorian.
I'm not the Lord. Yodalorian. I like it. I like it a lot. So if you think, so what? The Force Awakens happens, I think it is 30 years after Return of the Jedi. So this would be 25 years after Return of the Jedi. The Force Awakens happens 25 years after the events that we're watching right now in The Mandalorian. So Baby Yoda would be 75. My guess, and this is what I've been putting together, and I don't understand why anybody else has put this together and thought about this, because everybody's talking about that Yoda at 100 would be a teenager, or the Baby Yoda at 100 would be a teenager. Not necessarily.
They said in the beginning that they age differently.
Yeah. So my thoughts are that the first 50 or so years of Yoda's species is infant-like, and then they rapidly accelerate their growth. Because Yoda was a little over 900 years old, and Yoda himself said that he had been training Jedi for over 800 years.
True.
If that's true, then Yoda wasn't teaching them as an infant, as a little infant. He was teaching them as a full-blown Jedi, which means it probably wouldn't have taken him that long to become a full-blown Jedi, and even maybe a master.
So maybe we're
in our years,
see the way that he ages through the show.
Yeah, maybe in our years, but for his years, he could have done it and still been quite young. And so, I think it'd be cool to see Baby Yoda grow up and be like a 20-ish something, like spry young Yoda species. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't you call him Yoda Teen? Would he be then be a Yolenial? Yolenial? Wasn't as good as yours. All right. Yeah. See, Josh, I'm thinking, I'm thinking that he's got to be at that point. He's got to be young adult at that point. Let's see. Baby Yoda wielding the Darksaber. Oh. Josh, just getting a glimpse of that would be awesome. He becomes a Mandalorian. He becomes a foundling. Becomes a Mandalorian. And wields the Darksaber, but with being able to use the Force. There's a cartoon of a Yodalorian. Oh, is there really? Let's look that up. Hey, brother, check your snail mail in a day or so. All right, Bruce. I certainly will, brother. Thank you, man. I imagine my dad watched since we had a lot in common before his death when I was 19. Hey, I'm sorry to hear that, Jeremy. Soy-based Jeremy. Yeah, man. I grew up... My dad didn't pass away, but I grew up without my dad until I was in my late 20s, and finally reconnected, and I didn't realize how much I needed that connection until I had it. So my heart goes out to you, man. Sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that you have those memories, and that you're able to remember that stuff for sure. 88 parsecs per hour takes you back in time. Yep, it would just depend upon how he ages. Look how fast he is now. Exactly. So in dog years, my dog is a Jedi. The Yodalorian Chronicles. I like it. Sounds like the elves in the Lord of the Rings, but they are immortal. Looks like George Lucas based Yoda off of them. Who knows? Who knows where George got his ideas for such things? Well, hey guys. That was our Mandalorian live action thing. We are actually going to put things on pause. I'm going to turn off the camera for a few minutes, and we're going to come back actually at about 8:40, and we're going to watch the season finale of Titans. So if you have DC Universe, come back and watch that with us, all right? And we're going to watch that live as well. We're going to do a watch party for that. So, love you guys. As always, may the force be with you. Don't forget that we do have some awesome Star Wars merch in our in the description below our videos. You can find a hashtag I love Star Wars. I have spoken t-shirt. There's 2 different versions of that, and then of course Poindexter Lounge shirts. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. May the force be with you. We will see you all. Thank you, Pam. Hug right back to you. There you go. Until next time. We'll see you soon. Like 15 minutes soon. Bye. Say goodnight, Tiff.